is that was targeted last evening or not.
Thank you. That's Mohammed Taha from BBC Arabic joining us. Thanks for joining us in the programme. Well, we can now speak to Gina Abercrombie-Winstanley, former US ambassador and senior non-resident scholar at the Atlantic Council. Thank you for joining us on the programme. We're seeing these scenes at the moment coming in from Beirut, and as my colleague Mohammed was mentioning there, these constant exchanging of fire between Israel and Hezbollah. How significant do you think this moment is?
Well, it is yet another moment of danger. We have seen many escalations over the last 11 months, many of them undertaken by the government of Israel. And we have seen some miscalculations during the last 11 months as well, unintended consequences. One of them that comes immediately to mind, of course, is the killing of the children in northern Israel that brought on an elevated Israeli response. And so this, too, is yet another time where the region could be thrown into a conflagration without a focused effort toward diplomacy. And of course, the challenge is that the Israelis are not interested in diplomacy at this moment.
Not interested in diplomacy. And I guess the key player in any kind of diplomatic efforts would be the United States. What do you make of the country's role in all of this? Because they've distanced themselves from these latest Israeli strikes that we've seen in Beirut.
Yeah, well, frustration behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, as we've seen, where the president has said we did not know that this was going to happen, that we had no role in the attack on the Secretary General of Hezbollah. It's a huge risk. It is an attack of another level to go after Nasrallah specifically. Frustration, because the United States sincerely believes that diplomacy is the way to resolve these issues, that there has to be a credible, clear path for Palestinians, for the Gaza Strip, in order to bring safety, security, and peace and stability for Israel. Israel is our close ally, but without it being in place for both sides, all sides, Israel cannot have it. And the Israeli government is taking the position that increased violence and military operations are going to bring about what they believe will be quiet, but it will not be long-term quiet. We have been here before.
And a question, I guess, for viewers might be the consequences if the United States continues to call for diplomacy, a ceasefire, and Israel does not heed those calls. Are there any potential consequences from the United States? Will they continue to give this message to Israel?
Well, we have infinite patience when it comes to Israel. The messages will continue, probably very direct ones, but we are patient. We recognize that they have choices to make as a sovereign government, and we are coming up on an election which definitely has an impact with what the president does as he tries to set the stage for his successor.
And a question about the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah. He was reportedly the target of Israel's strikes on Friday. What impact would it have if he was killed in those attacks?
Well, the Israelis have effectively taken out much of Hezbollah's leadership over the last 10 months or so. To actually kill Hassan Nasrallah would put the organization in turmoil even greater than compromising its communications and sowing distrust among them, because of course someone must have been cooperating with the Israelis for them to have been so effective at undermining the organization. So there isn't a leader standing in the wings clearly. Now, like Hamas, like Hezbollah in the past, someone will take over, someone will lead Hezbollah, and it will likely continue the conflict with Israel. The challenge with killing and killing and killing is that it breeds anger, it breeds resentment, it breeds the desire for vengeance, as the prime minister used on October 8th. when he said that vengeance was going to be meted out on Palestinians.